the next submitter is Beautification Trust. They are coming online.
Thank you.
Yeah. I bought a vacuum cleaner at Briscoe's.
Oh,
Good morning. Thank you for your submission. So we have Louise Biowink, Amber Galia, and we have Carolyn Robinson. Is that correct? Yeah, thank you. So we have 10 minutes with you. So you can start by speaking to your submission if you like, and if there is any time left, there might be questions from members. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Kia ora koutou. I'm Louise Bovink, Marketing and Communications Manager at the Beautification Trust, and thank you for the opportunity to speak to the Select Committee today. We're a South Auckland organisation committed to connecting and empowering communities to learn, love and look after the environment. We see firsthand how much waste is created by the lack of repair options for everyday items and how costly it is for our whānau to have to throw broken things away. So a culture shift towards repair and a circular economy would hugely benefit our communities and our environment, and this bill is a great step in the right direction. And I'd like to introduce you to Amber Galea. She's our Zero Waste Manager.
Kia ora. I'm Amber and I run the Beautification Trust Zero Waste programs, including the Manurewa Community Recycling Centre. So we are one of 14 community recycling centres in Auckland who all receive e-waste. In the past year, we have recycled nearly 7 tonnes of e-waste. That's over 1,000 electronic items. I have a few things behind me that we tend to receive. We want people to extend the life of things as long as they can. And for a lot of the e-waste that comes in, a small repair would have done just that. For example, one of our customers had a kettle that needed a very simple fix. They were prepared to do it, but the manuals and parts weren't available. They even went to the effort of finding the same kettle secondhand in hopes of taking a part from that one. But that kettle had the exact same problem. So when the customer has the will to fix the product, it can often feel like everything is against them. They had to get rid of it. Another customer had a rice cooker where the non-stick came off the bowl inside. They tried to get a replacement bowl through the manufacturer, but they didn't have any. They tried to find a second-hand replacement bowl, but to no avail. They then had to throw away the whole rice cooker, which was otherwise in great working condition. This kind of situation can be avoided if we pass the right to repair bill. This is a common story for many items: kettles, toasters, microwaves, washing machines, TVs, all with the potential for repair. If the scope of the bill is to be limited, as we have recommended in our written submission, these are the types of items that we would like to be included. There are economic benefits to the bill. If we had better access to parts and manuals, we could fix and resell items ourselves. The bill can support us to employ someone to do this mahi. It creates local circular economy jobs. Textile waste is another big issue that we would like the committee to consider. We see piles of clothing dumped or returned to retailers who often just chuck them in the bin. Op shops and community recycling centres are also seen as dumping grounds for these kind of unrepaired items, passing the problem onto community organisations to deal with. Often the fault is very small, a broken zip or a loose seam. We support exploring how clothing repairs could be reimbursed under the CGA instead of replacing the item, which often ends up in landfill. It's a small change with big environmental impact. Textile waste is a growing problem. Now going to pass on to Carolyn.
Kia ora, I'm Carolyn. I run the Manurewa Repair Cafe, which operates every 3 months with the help of 20 amazing volunteers. They offer their fixing and organizational skills. We see firsthand that people want to repair things, They show up with broken items and a lot of hope. Incidentally, 50% of these items are electrical. And why are 50% electrical? Well, we see the same barriers again and again. It is the cost and the access to professional repair. It's the lack of skills or tools. It's products being glued shut, designed to be unrepairable. I'd like to share a story about Bridget, a regular to our repair cafe, who brought in a 5-year-old Neela vacuum. I think we've just heard about one, haven't we? She brought in this vacuum on the strength, or she bought it on the strength of the brand promise, Neela for life. Our professional volunteer electrician assessed a faulty switch. Should have been an easy repair, but he couldn't get the part. Didn't have it with him. So Bridget took it to the next repair level. She contacted Neela. She traveled across town to their repair office. And in Auckland, across town is quite far. And after 10 days and $200, her vacuum was fixed. Now, 200 is a lot better than the $500 example we heard. She was happy with this outcome, preferring to invest in repairing her Neela. What's the problem with this solution? Well, if the repair manual and the parts had been available, our volunteer electrician could have fixed it for her here at her local repair cafe. This bill means that parts and repair instructions will be available for third-party local repairers. Bridget's vacuum would not need to travel across town to the brand owner for $200 repairs. Most people wouldn't have the means or inclination to go to these lengths. Also, Neela is an exceptional brand offering repairs. You can imagine how many electrical items won't.
So to conclude, we really strongly support the Right to Repair bill because it helps shift Aotearoa towards a circular economy, one where waste is minimised and resources are valued. And as we've mentioned in our written submission, we do recommend the following improvements. Ensure the legislation makes repair information publicly accessible when the product enters the market, not just on request. We want to address the copyright loophole that could let manufacturers opt out of sharing that repair information. Limit the bill's scope to key product categories in a schedule that could be updated and added to as technology evolves. And ensure that second-hand goods are carved out of the repair obligation under the CGA, because we don't want op shops to be on the hook for repairing really dated items for which the parts and information are just impossible to find anymore. So thank you very much for the opportunity to speak, and we welcome your questions.
Thank you. And there is a question from Honourable Marama Davidson.
Morena, Louise, Amber and Carolyn, thank you so much. I may or may not have brought my mother to the reuse store to do our Christmas shopping a few months ago. I definitely did. It was the bit about developing skills, and you talked about your volunteers at the centre, the fix-it, the tutu dynamic of our whakapapa as a country. Did you want to speak a bit more to what you've seen in terms of local community people developing those repair and fix-it skills?
Do you guys have some examples top of mind? I mean, we've got all our repair cafe volunteers who are incredible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Generally, the repair cafe people are already experienced and they want to give back to the community. Some of them are retired and they have the time, but they're passionate about doing it. The hardest people to find are the electricians. They're in short supply because they're giving their professional services for volunteer time on the weekend. So they have huge hearts.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, even some people say, well, I'm a very good seamstress, but I'll give it a go. And I said, well, you don't have to fix everything. You fix what you're comfortable with, and the people appreciate it.
I think the other cool example is, Amber, our textile repairs that we can do at the Community Recycling Centre.
We run a volunteer-led group on a Monday called the Rag Dolls. And through our reuse store, we tend to get a lot of clothing that just needs a very simple repair, like a button added, a need to be fixed, and the rag dolls come together on a Monday and they're actually, able to repair these things so that we can sell them and extend the life of these things that have had so many resources go into it,
Yeah,
Thank you.
I think the point is, if you extend that example to things like electronics and appliances, imagine if we had the tools, the knowledge, the parts to be able to repair all these broken items that come in and resell them to the community as well. It would create such a huge economic benefit for social enterprises like ours.
Thank you very much.
That's great. All right, we'll have to finish there. Thank you for your submission.
Thank you.